Welcome to the AMR-One project video series. This is the first video of this series where I will explain this project that basically is the development of an autonomous mobile robot. And I will show all the process of that from two point of views. One would be from the project management part and the strategic part, and also from the technical part. So this video will focus on the product strategy and roadmap. Okay. My idea is to explain a bit around what is product strategy, product roadmap, and product life cycle, and go explaining a bit on AMR-One project case. Okay, so we have like an example of that. Okay, so really there are three concepts that I want to talk about. The first one is the product strategy. When you want to produce something from the company point of view, from a company, you have to have a product strategy. You do not go directly to create a product and see what happens. You should have a product strategy. What is a product strategy? It's just a high-level plan that defines your product goals through its life cycle and how it will support the organization's goals. Really, the product strategy will also answer who the product will serve and how it will benefit them. So it is really starting from here, saying, okay, what is the product vision? What are the product goals? What we want to get from the product? It's a general view, okay, and from that idea, it comes the product strategy, and we could create the product roadmap, okay. That is this other thing that I will explain, and from that roadmap we will see later we get the release plan, backlogs, and things like that, okay. So but before here there are the requirements and many things that I will explain here, okay. So what is the product roadmap? Okay, really these plans, the product strategy plans, are then brought to life on the roadmap. The roadmap is really, the product roadmap is a plan of action for how a product or solution will evolve over time. So this is just an example, time and functionalities and how they will evolve over time. Product owners use roadmaps to outline future product functionalities and when new features will be released. So sales departments could start talking to customers about them and things like that, and all the company could plan on that, okay. And okay, to build up a roadmap, product owners should consider many things like market trajectories, customer value propositions, strategic goals, and effort constraints, obviously. Once these factors are understood, the product owner can work with the teams to start prioritizing initiatives and epics on the roadmap, okay? So you may want to have everything on the first quarter, but probably you have to see when is adequate from the market standpoint and from the resources standpoint, okay. All that, after that it comes requirements and many other things that we will talk in other videos, okay. But always everything is surrounded by the product life cycle, obviously, the product life cycle management, okay. This is the product life cycle, and the management of the product life cycle is the process of managing the entire life cycle of a product from its inception through the engineering, design, manufacturing, as well as the service and disposal, okay. In the case of the AMR-One, that is this autonomous mobile robot, what we have in that case? Well, really in that case, I will explain how I did that. For that I use Confluence from Atlassian. It's quite useful. And as this project is a personal project that I did in my own time, it's not a company project, so everything is much simpler. But I use that as a simple example, okay, on how to do a project. So what is the vision is to help the industrial users, okay. If I try to explain it a bit more, is like, okay, let me increase that, okay, the size, to help industrial users automate their internal movement of goods. Okay, so it's a intralogistic solution, basically automated intralogistic solution. And the product goals, okay, this usually is something not based on something on time or whatever, just a vision. And the product goals is the scope really of the product is to develop an autonomous mobile robot, AMR-One, able to move goods in an industrial environment. Okay. Some basic features are described here, like what are you going to do with that? It's like, this is very undefined. Okay, really it will serve the goals by releasing some functionalities like magnetic guidance with RFID based actions. This is for very specific markets. Very specific markets really ask for this technology. Also, it is quite old technology. It's from the 50s, I think, so the 40s. It is still used and still needed by some markets, like, for example, automotive market. It is demanding this even in these days, because it's quite reliable. And you could have like very defined trajectories, and everything works like a clock, okay, like a watch. Also SLAM-based navigation for general purpose, and safety stop functionalities based on LiDAR and other sensors to comply with the safety rules in the industry. And trolley integration to carry load, so the AMR could go and pick a trolley and move that somewhere else. Okay, trolley with, I don't know, boxes in it or whatever. And cloud monitoring functionalities for monitoring from the cloud how the AMR is working and trying to improve things, and so on. So these are the basic definitions under the product strategy. Very basic. In a real product in the market, it will be much deeper. Okay, and what about the roadmap? Okay, the roadmap, I define the roadmap as something really simple and based on what I mentioned before. There is this timeline. Okay, and the project really started on the 2020, 2 years ago, and this was the start, and it took more than 2 years to finish, because really I did that, as I mentioned, in my own free time, and I didn't have any rush to finish the project. Okay, so there are these kind of initiatives like the safety stop, the magnetic band guidance, the SLAM-based navigation, and other initiatives with what I call epics. So there are, like, here the safety stop button, the safety stop based with on LiDAR, on a remote button, magnetic guidance. So this, like, define not only your development agenda, to say something, or to development schedule, but also when are you going to have like your releases or your versions. So here is version 1.0, and everything under here is what makes version 1.0. So you could sell the product with these functionalities ready, and then you could go to version 2. Like here, version 1 is with only magnetic guidance and RFID tags and basic data monitoring and things like that for a specific market. And then in this other version, it goes to the SLAM-based navigation, and here much more functionalities. Okay, so this is basically what a roadmap is, and the idea is that from here you could start defining the requirements of the different functionalities or epics that you're going to develop, and define cost and plan and everything. This gives you the big picture, okay, of your product, and when are you going to have the different functionalities. It is important to know that the roadmap itself is something that should be updated as often as necessary, okay, so that it can remain an accurate source of truth always, because roadmaps change over time. You could not say, okay, I'm going to plan my product during the next 3 years and nothing will change. Yeah, things change. So just keep that in mind, and it will evolve, and you have to keep it always maintained. There are many ways to prevent it changing too much, and having like change controls and correct approvals and things like that. But consider that it will change. Okay, and that's all so far. Thank you for your attention, and click like if you like the video. Bye.